have here? Well, this is your collection of goodies, huh?
This is various peripherals.
Uh-huh.
The document printer, spin writer.
Is this like a Diablo printer, or is that?
Yes. In particular, it's electrically equivalent to the OEM version of the Diablo printer,
Wow.
which connected to the computer with about 20 wires and cost about 2/3 what one of the serial interface cost.
Wow.
And so to make this thing work, you have to have the right driver, which is quite complex, and to put this multiple parallel port board into your computer.
Wow. Huh. That was the S100 bus.
That's an S100 4 parallel port inside board.
Great.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll get working?
No, neither printer. This didn't. I believe I had the disk with the right driver on it, 'cause the driver has to be built into the BIOS, and it didn't seem to go, and I didn't investigate more deeply.
Okay.
That one.
So that's to show off that printer model.
And this box contains the teletype 40 mechanism that goes in this cabinet.
Oh.
And parts of that had rubber that were deteriorated, and I haven't even applied power to it.
Oh.
But that was what I made my program listings on. But it has an upper and lowercase print chain in it, so that at cost and speed I could make rough drafts of documents.
Cool.
But it doesn't really print nicely enough. If you
Actually,
want to look at it as it arrived.
as it arrived, and there it
Has
is.
the IMSAI, the disk drive, the monitor.
Wow.
There's a keyboard in the box there.
Historic. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? How
It's a fib sheet for
this is from
what?
Adventure?
Yes.
An adventure game?
Yes.
it's like
Here,
Dungeons
hold it
and
up.
Dragons or something? Or,
Hold it up.
Yeah, there was an adventure game written in Fortran that I also saw on Data General machines. I saw something similar at DEC on bigger machines, somewhat more elaborate. It was apparently around in the bunch, the late 70s, early 80s. I don't know quite where it came from, except I got it from a tech. Put a little CRT in it.
Huh.
Did this go with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the display I'm using.
So let's put
like
out.
the-
Nobody ever, that had 64 characters across.
Let's put
Oh.
It was too small.
Yeah, that was kind of like in the
the
original.
keyboard out there. Let's make a nice little.
The Osborne. Looks like the Osborne would fit in
It may
that.
have been the same OEM product.
Yeah.
IMSAI bought it somewhere.
So this one didn't have those deck type switches like the PDP series.
No, I was telling Bruce they saved a bunch of money.
Yeah, by doing
Because
that.
they don't serve any, once the thing works, they don't serve much purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, if the computer basically runs, there's a ROM monitor which will let you examine and change memory.
Yeah.
And, start at a given address, and basic debugging things
Yeah.
you'd do from the front panel if you were starting cold with a computer that had no software.
Yeah, but now we have software, so.
Yeah, there's a monitor and ROM in the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not developing hardware with it. And I got a disk operating system, so I don't use the ROM monitor for anything hardly. Except you used to use it to set the baud rate for the line printer. It's the line printer. This is on the parallel port. There's one parallel and one serial port on the CPU board. No, two of the disk interface.
So video, CPU,
Yeah,
2 memory, and the disk interface.
yeah, double card disk interface. I think it has another ROM on it, as I recall.
Was this a 400K or an 800K?
Neither. You don't know.
Where's it?
And I'll show you the command to change it. Okay.
It's because it's a. Look at this, Allan.
Case just for one of these printers, huh? Paper down there.
The
Yeah,
paper
impressive.
goes there, up through there, and then the paper either folds there or goes out through.
Oh. These technology.
The printer mechanism is a Model 40. Look up Model 40 on the internet. You'll see that as a terminal they have a keyboard, this printer, and a video screen.
Oh.
How the video screen related to the computer, I don't know. This was the only part of the system that it interested me.
Oh.
This is from Gates and of the Box, another manufacturer. KSR means keyboard send and receive. ASR.
How many pages per minute could this thing do?
A lot.
Yeah.
See the characters are on a belt that moves this way?
Uh-huh.
And the hammers are where? I think they're either down in there or behind the paper. Yeah, so the belt is continuously moving, and when a character goes by the desired position, it's hit by a hammer.
Oh.
And when all the characters in the line are printed, it moves up.
Oh. Okay, so
The
line
paper
printer.
moves.
The line. So this was the
Yeah.
the line printer, as you were saying, really.
Yeah.
There's a special adaptation here.
Yes.
So this was EIA, is that what you're saying?
What's Electronic Industry Association?
So not quite the standard, but
Yeah.
this made it the standard, huh?
Yeah, you can see two of the conductors are moved, and a lot of them are just left open.
I see.
And then there was still a provision you needed in software. I think it was a delay after a form feed.
Huh.
If you didn't delay after a form feed, the next line printed smeared down the page
Ah.
or something.
From here.
Okay, rolling.
The
Okay.
keyboard is already connected.
Okay.
Cable from here through a connector. I usually just take this off when I want to move it separately.
Okay. Okay. Right onto the
I guess I'll go that way.
on its own S100 board.
No, that's the parallel port
Board?
on the MPUB board,
Okay. That's a parallel interface.
I believe. Yeah, and then there's also a serial port. No, it's the processor board that included one parallel and one serial.
Oh.
This serial port was used for the Teletype Model 40 line printer. I don't remember what that is. And we've got a cable from the disk drive. It goes here.
You know which directions the ribbon cables go by? They always face the back?
This one does.
Okay.
At least it was there when it was running yesterday.
Okay.
No, I'm not sure there's any consistency. And then none of them have keys in them. You're supposed to know.
I
You
see.
can put them off on shifted one to the side or
Now, if you get them backwards, is there any problem sometimes? Or it just doesn't work?
it at least doesn't work.
At least.
Now, there's no guarantee on anything being
Oh.
improved. And then we have the video connection comes from these two little pins
Oh.
on the video board.
Well, that looks.
Comes to that,
Wow.
which goes into the monitor. This is the monitor.
The disk drive? You know for the disk drive?
Somewhere there should be a cord coming out of the disk drive. Yes.
Alright. Okay.
Seems to me that's all of it.
That's all I have to do to plug it in? Oh. Okay.
No explosions.
Okay.
Now, until you hit the space bar, it doesn't know whether the keyboard is on the serial or parallel port.
Get the space bar first.
Yeah. And this has an on-off switch on it.
Okay.
Is it warming up?
You should turn off the
Yes.
light there. Okay.
It's got characters too.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if we knock the knob or we need to wait for it to warm up.
No.
There it goes. See, it says hit spacebar. And it found the keyboard on the parallel port. MPUB is the name of the board.
Right.
The CPU board that has a monitor and ROM on it. And the question mark is its prompt. Now, when you haven't used it for a while and you get to this point, it comes up with no characters, but the cursor moves.
Ah,
You
okay.
get the enter key and it'll move down 2 lines. What I found works for that is you wait a while and maybe wiggle things around this board. Which
Board, the
generates
front board there?
Yeah, the video board.
Okay.
The other thing you do is if you have a serial printer or something in the serial port, you need to set the baud rate. What? Oh. So I used to use 9600, so you go Z9600 in this ROM monitor. That's the baud rate for the serial port.
The
Keyboard
serial
is on a
port.
parallel port.
Okay, now you want the serial
The
port.
serial port would be
for
for
the
that
floppy
big...
drive?
No, it's the big line printer we
The
have
line
outside.
printer, okay, for the
No, the
printer, yeah.
floppy has dedicated hardware.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and I believe there's no way to set that baud rate once you're in the DOS rather than in the monitor. So now you type a B, and lo and behold, it says not ready.
Then that's what you
Put the disk in.
Put the disc in.
Now hit the space bar again. There's the sign on from the operating system.
And now we're getting the A prompt, huh?
Yeah.
So is that IMS-DOS? IM-DOS?
Yeah,
Lo and behold, it acts like CPM.
yeah. There she glows.
Let me
She's
see.
glowing.
Maybe adjust the black and white contrast so it's a little bit more black and white.
Yeah. The other thing I want to do is adjust the vertical linearity. It seems to be here. It seems to be here, and I need a screwdriver to get 5 years of not being turned on.
Just a little adjustment.
Do Wordstar? Adventure?
Yeah, let's check it out.
You want to sit down?
Oh, I'm going to get some shots as you need to bring things up.
Release 2.
And yeah, it goes through a sign-on delay.
So what date is this?
Would be, that was probably the last one I did.
Does that work for your camera? Can you still see?
Yeah, no, you can
Turn
still
off the
see.
spotlights.
Yeah.
That might be, sounds like the easiest.
There it is, huh?
Yeah.
Just that,
Now you're getting good, clear screenshots, Allan.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to edit this down quite a bit. This is a test. Let us demonstrate word wrap. Oh, cool. Okay. Rob demonstrating word wrap.
Okay, good.
Oh, you asked about tricky parts, and one of them was how to make sure it kept up with the keyboard when you type too fast for it.
Ultra cool.
Words I typed are too long. See, it inserted enough blanks to fill the line up to the same length because justification is on.
Now you could put a separate disk in the B drive, right?
Yeah.
And then how would you get it to recognize it? Would you hit Control C or something like that, or?
Whenever you put a different disk in a drive than the one that's been there, you need to hit Control C,
Yeah.
which of course terminates the program you're running.
That would
It reboots the system.
reboot Wordstar too.
No, it would leave you.
Leave you in Wordstar.
Well, Wordstar, I believe.
So like I have some data disks. I wanted to check them out on this Wordstar. I could stick them in the B drive, and how would I access the B directory?
Control C is page down. Control R is page up.
Okay.
Okay, that's why the text disappeared. Yeah, you don't want to change a disk with a program running,
Yeah. So the A drive.
and then write on
stays-
the disk,
Right.
because the information about what's where on the disk is only read when you type Control C. And it'll start writing. It keeps the directory in RAM and the table of what parts of the disk are free,
Ah, okay.
in order to get some speed out of this very slow disk. So if you change a disk when a program is running, it tends to scramble the files.
Not
It
good.
writes pieces of new files into old files for a bit. Given that there's been nothing in the B drive, it would be safe to insert one.
It would be safe.
Insert one.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to change it, it would be best to go back to the system and start Wordstar again.
I'll quit Wordstar every time I change the drive. Change
You have to make the computer reload the drive.
Okay.
Some stuff was done to address that. What did we do in INDOS? I don't remember. Maybe it says in the manual. Because Gary Kildall, he came up with a way to detect a changed disk, and he made it turn the disk into read-only. It wouldn't let you write it.
Oh, good.
And I think I made it relog it instead. Logging was the term for reading the directory information off the disk. But I've forgotten. I do remember that he wouldn't tell me how he did it.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I bet you checksum something.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when I got the source code, he computed a checksum for each sector of the track that has the directory on it. So he got a relatively small number of words of information that would be very unlikely to be identical for a different disk.
Wow.
You get one shot with this high-res cam.
Did the Siren give a date? I don't remember. I guess we can find out.
Yeah. View it.
Copyright 1980. And it says what hardware it's installed for.
Which is important.
Yeah, because this gets a lot of its speed by going directly to the video memory. There's, for each character position on the screen, there's a character that appears in the main address space, a byte. And if you store into that, the character appears there on the screen. And you can output through the usual operating system calls and it will display, but this is much faster. On the other hand, if you do it the other way, it's much more portable. Because this Wordstar, as installed in its full detail, will only work on this configuration.
We'll start up a document again.
The other to return.
See if
Reform, Control B.
See if he was pointing to each of the things,
Yeah.
Allan.
Yeah.
While we video, if he's pointing to it, he can give us like a visual tour of the.
What I just
Wordstar.
did was typed a bunch more text in the middle of a line, and the line got too long. It does not automatically word wrap as you type, reword wrap.
Okay. Let's
So
see
now
what
I'm going to type Control B, and it should realign that whole paragraph. Oh, it's asking me where I want to put a hyphen.
Oh, because you have a long text string.
Yeah. The hyphenate press dash. Okay, let's put the hyphen right there. And there's our paragraph realigned, and it doesn't have quite the huge gaps in it had before.
Yeah. So
Because the
Allan,
hyphenated one of the worst overlong words.
So let's
Yeah,
go.
now.
So you've got cursor, Control A, Control E upline, Control A left word. You could show us where the cursor key combination is.
Yeah. Do you have the
Allan, are you
keyboard in
videoing?
the...
Yeah, it's recording, yeah.
It's recording.
Yeah, you have the keyboard as well as the screen?
Yes.
To be able to see. The cursor keys were intended to be in directions corresponding to where you wanted to move.
There you go.
Like if you go... I need to get in the middle to start.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a diamond here. We have up, down, left, right.
Right. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And this diamond. Now, you go
Move the
further over
cursor.
to the right here, it goes right a whole word.
Gotcha. So you can see. Are you
But
jumping?
since that whole line is one line, the cursor's going to jump to the end of the line.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
a
okay.
false word end at the end of the line.
Ah, nice.
Now, if I go Control A, see, that's the right, that's the left, this is word left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it went twice. 'Cause
So that's the diamond, and that's in every keyboard. So you're guaranteed to have that.
yeah, see, it stops in punctuation.
And this is the 1978 version.
1980 copyright.
80
so it's
copyright.
kind of 70.
Because you left, what, in 79 or something like that? 78. I mean 80.
Case 2 sticks.
Case key stick.
K key. Okay, this time, they put an end block in.
Okay, so that I remember those K things were begin and end block. You remember that?
Yeah, beginning and end, that's so that you could cut and paste the block, right?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We should show a cut and paste and
We should do it with some real text.
do some. Oh yeah, okay.
I want to look on a different keyboard because I want to look on a different disk because you were asking about dates. Got a prefix.
What's how do you get rid of the menus? What's the
You type Control J H.
Control J?
Does it explain it? Yes, it prompts them.
Okay, good.
See, I went 2. It gives you the whole. When you haven't typed a prefix key that brings up a special menu, it leaves the whole screen for your document. I'm looking for dates.
This was your bio at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your
Yeah, you're asking for dates.
that's your CV.
We want to go to the bottom and work backwards. So
It's cool. It's the inventor of Wordstar looking at his own resume in Wordstar. What a neat thing. Totally appropriate. I'm trying to find out the history of Wordstar by looking at your resume.
a list of computers: IBM 7094, Microdata 820, PDP-10, PDP-1, Data General Eclipse with AOS, CPM, MS-DOS. Assembler for all of them: Fortran 4 and 5, PLM, BASIC. Okay, BBN was 1976 to 71. What else we see here is how you get formatting into Wordstar. I want something to be boldface. I got a Control B in the file, which displays as a caret and a B.
There's a caret and a B.
But it was entered by typing, I think, Control P and then
Thank PB.
that sounds right, doesn't it? We can put
Yeah,
the menu
it
back
does.
on.
And you had that
What-
memory sheet over here.
When you type Control B, the next key you hit just goes into the file as a control character.
I bring that cheat sheet over, and we can show that on camera too.
Oh, then this Dirk's Electronics was the place with the software-less computer I was talking about, 71 and 72.
Control KN sets column mode on KK marks ending of block.
Column mode's newer than me. I thought about how to do columns and kind of boggled. and never
Copy
did.
block, Control KC,
Yeah.
new block, Control KV,
Yeah.
KW.
Yeah, let me continue a bit on your
On the
fork,
tour.
which was establishing dates.
Okay.
Filling in blanks in your earlier audio tape, giving you an editing and collating opportunity. So I was chief programmer at IMSAI. Wicks Boulevard was what that place was called. From August 76 to April 78.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see that. Let me see that again.
Oh,
So you were chief programmer at IMSAI from August of '78.
August of 76 to April of 78.
Gosh. Okay.
Duplication procedures for software products. Supervised 1 to 2 other programmers. Yes, I remember the machines were flaky and I had to write a diagnostic.
Diagnostic.
And I didn't think it got published, but I found the instructions for running it in one of those manuals called Shakedown. Yeah, I used to send incredible numbers of memory boards back to be serviced. Because I think I was one of the first people to put 64K, that's 16 4K memory boards, into one of these machines. Because it made editing nicer. You know, with a larger area, you could, more of your file was in RAM, you didn't have to wait for it to go to disk as you moved around.
Yeah.
It really made a difference.
It made a difference. Then the S-tolls would like that.
Yes. Oh, you asked earlier what I did. It says I implemented an ISAM, an index sequential access method, which I remember doing. It was something Seymour thought would be useful because he had a background in business programming. I don't know if it got published or got to the customers in any way or not. I think it's right before I left, for one thing. A video text editor, numerous utilities, wrote user manuals for Windows operating system and commercial basic. Ah, yeah, there was a guy there already in touch with, Gordon Eubanks, who now I believe is CEO at
Semantics.
Symantec, yeah. Yeah, he was in the Navy and had written the basic interpreter. He'd been to the Naval Postgraduate School, I believe, where Gary Kildall was.
Gary
I
was
think
a-
that contract was already underway when I got there, but I tested for him.
So
I
what
remember-
was Gary Kildall like? he was a college professor, right? He'd been a
At the Naval Postgraduate School
right.
in Monterey. And so it's not entirely clear to me how much of this stuff was really done by students and how much in the way of thesis projects he ended up publishing. But he had all this stuff. He had a little lab.
So did you
I
go-
remember going down early on to work with him on something about getting it to boot, getting it to work with the IMSAI machine, maybe getting the right bias into the first one.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. So was he still
And
working?
then I went down later.
Was he wasn't still at the postgraduate school, or had he started digital research by that point?
I think he had both going.
He had both going.
Yeah, and I guess he moved to full-time digital research later. But
So you had
it was under the sold under the digital research name.
So you had heard about it and convinced IMSAI to use it, to use CP.
The information was already at IMSAI. Somebody passed it to me as the appropriate thing to consider.
Right, and you said,
Yeah.
look,
I mean, it wasn't something I knew in the community. Versions of things that were supposed to be operating systems written for the 8080, and that one looked far and away best. And it looked closest to a real system.
yeah.
Because I'm somebody who used a real-time sharing system on a DEC machine before. Most people hadn't. Most people came up from being hardware hackers.
Right.
And such concepts as having files by name were foreign to some of them until they'd seen CPM. Whereas this just sort of, looked to me like what we had in our teletypes in our offices at BBN.
Right.
If you came from the IBM world, then you didn't know about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you happened to use one of the relatively rare time-sharing systems. I'm still not sure if you knew how their file schemes worked. But, it was all card images and stuff.
So there we say you did the floppy operating system. So when you were writing the floppy operating system, you had to write that as an extension on CPM, and because they didn't have one yet, or did Gary have Gary have a floppy operating?
Yeah, he had somebody's floppies.
Somebody's.
Yeah,
floppy.
it was written to run in 243K or whatever they are floppies.
Gotcha. But you wrote a new one for the
We
IMSAI.
rewrote it and edited. Well, you had to have the hardware primitives in your basic input-output system, your
Right.
BIOS.
Right.
The right code to read a given sector. I mean, the system was designed in the assumption there were so many tracks and so many sectors,
Mm-hmm.
and each sector was 128 bytes on the disk. That was hardwired into it, but what instructions you executed to read one or write one were not hardwired into the system. They were in this little section called the BIOS
Mm-hmm.
that would be, which had a vector of jumps at the beginning to get to the various functions, and it would contain code specific to the system you were running on. So I believe I had to provide that. Super sort, a sort merge package, a WordMaster, full screen text editor, and the first versions of Wordstar, a word processor with full screen editing and on-screen formatting and pagination. These programs were sold by Micropro International Corporation on a royalty basis. They were written in assembly language for and on 8-bit CPM-based personal computers. Then I have Computer Programmer, Micropro International, January 79 through November 80. Maintained an enhanced Wordstar through version 2.13, created mail merge add-on product. 80 through 83, semi-retirement, mostly loafing, occasional miscellaneous consulting. I left the house renovation stuff out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is when I was back at Micropro,
So you went back to Micropro.
software scientist. Yeah, nothing ever came of that.
And
Oh, this was also after I just moved to San Francisco because it says 219, which is the downstairs apartment. Now I live in 221, the upstairs apartment.
Oh, really? That's wow. Just a slight shift since that point.
Well, there was a tenant in it. And they were in the process of funding their own place, but
19
they had
where?
tenants' rights, and I let them stay. Oh, and I stayed downstairs and painted them when I wasn't living, and I think. And when I got it all painted up nicely, I moved in.
Did you have any working computers there in San Jose?
This one,
This one, huh?
or one of these, and then the PC and various clones over the years.
So you did not separate from technology. You just
No. No. Oh, I'm remembering something else. That isn't my video I/O board. Mine was apparently bad. That's why it's gone back to white on a black screen.
Otherwise, it'd be the opposite. Huh?
Might be black on a white screen.
I modified mine so the background was white and the text was black. I found a spare inverter somewhere and ran some blue wires around to the back of the
It's
board.
easier for us to video this.
Yeah. There are two more of those boards in those boxes of stuff I gave you.
Okay.
Both of them bad, apparently, except that one of them has the Space Invaders ROM.
Space Invaders ROM, that's right.
The,
So this is playing Space Invaders on CPM.
yeah. None of those boxes are labeled, incidentally. If you want to keep track of what they are, label them. You know, Rob Barnaby stuff. Or
I'll
something.
probably put them in their own tub. So.
Yeah.
Tubification.
Tub it and then label it. So I left them open so you can see what's in them.
So do you have any relatives use WordStar and talk to you about it at Thanksgiving dinner and stuff?
My brother never really got into it.
He didn't, huh? And he was a nerd too, huh? He was programming.
Let's see, what did they do with it? Yeah, they eventually went to PCs.
Ah.
You know, from the, well, they had the clips and the PCs. Now, I remember at one point, you know, the book.
Tracy Kidder's book, Soul of the New Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They serial number 5 of that. I remember a period several years later. You could say, see that machine? See this compact on the desk?
Yeah.
That one runs 5 times as fast.
Wow.
The compact. You know, it was when they had a lunchbox. I can ask him if he wants to.
There's one right over there.
A lunchbox compact? The next one, the one with the 386 in it, was smaller.
Oh, no.
It was the size of a lunchbox. It had a plasma screen on the front.
Oh, right.
He says he has that in the attic. Possibly he wants to ship it
Sure.
if he has no use for
The
it.
CTO of Compact, the former CTO, is sending a bunch of stuff.
CTO, is that a chief?
Yeah.
Worst decision he ever made.
He was not happy about going to venture capital.
Yeah, he let some marketing people direct, which apparently didn't take the software in the direction that really sold. That and the brains behind Wordstar 2000 died.
Oh, see.
But,
So MicroPro didn't last much longer than,
well, the venture capitalists sold out at some point.
well, they sold it this
Went this
summer.
way and that.
1984, you were there, back there.
Yeah, that you can probably find on the web somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's cool that somebody wrote your Wikipedia entry.
do I have a Wikipedia entry?
Don't you?
I don't remember looking at it. Maybe I'm going to put a different.
Different one.
Let's see. I'll use this one if it turns out to have Wordstar on it. See if it has
Rob
Wordstar.
Barnaby, huh? Barnaby.
It's funny, the LEDs are working on this keyboard.
Yes, I do. Oh, wait, let me do a Control-C just to
Just make sure. Yeah.
Oh, there are 3 LEDs, and they're all glowing dimly. I think that I think was my change
Shift lock is caps only.
on this keyboard. Well, this isn't. This keyboard is an IMSAI design, and it has an 8048 microprocessor in it, which is an all-in-one chip. And I reprogrammed it.
Gotcha.
I changed the program in ROM. So one thing it has is accelerating auto repeat. Listen to the clicks.
Oh,
It goes faster and faster. I don't really think that was terribly useful, but when I first found one, you know, where it waits half a second and then it takes off fast, and if you want to get 2 or 3, it's hard.
it's hard.
Yeah, that's where that is. Well, you're mentioned in Seymour Rubinstein's Wikipedia entry.
Okay. So you're going to start Wordstar again here, or?
We're going to find out how big the... No, first we're going to fill in a piece of information that somebody might need.
Okay.
Suppose you want to read a single density disk in this machine. You type this command, stat. You're familiar with stat from CPM, no doubt. You know, just plain stat gives you the space on a disk. Stat B colon gives you the space on the B drive. But if I go stat specifically in IMDOS in this version, stat B colon equals single. That will set the B drive to single density.
Gotcha.
If you go stat B colon equals double, it changes it back to double.
Double.
We wanted to know, let's see, we can go stat file name, can't we, find out how big it is?
Yeah, there it is.
Yep, 14K.
What, the program itself?
14K.
Well, then there's an overlay file that's separate.
Just wondering. Jeez.
Star. No, correct.
Sure, interrupt.
Yeah, and then interrupt.
Interrupt.
It's a crash. Okay, so the overlay's 28K and the program's 14K.
Yeah, but say the thing will run in 24K
Oh,
with the DOS and your file.
wow.
Not much of your file. The first one, 1.0, would run in 16K.
16K.
Amazing.
This machine is most of 64K. I think some of it's taken up by memory mapped.io.
Oh, this was the main documenting book for IMSAI. This was the...
No, the main documenting would be stack of manuals this
I
high
see.
or something.
What did you actually use a lot of?
What?
What manuals did you actually use to...
This as well as the one for the DOS.
Okay.
This whole manual says it's the MDOS user manual. Let's see, up to there it's the DOS. Oh, here's the Add Users Guide. The editor, that's something you use. There's the assembler, how to use it.
Did
Just how to assemble a program.
Very cool. Did you write the doc for Wordstar?
Yeah, for the first few versions. But that's what we need to dig out of the other box.
I don't want, or, oh yeah.
You
okay,
do want to
that's
save
okay.
it,
Yeah, I
because
got
you're
it.
trying to undo your changes.
Yeah. Cool. It's old memories, you know. 25 plus years ago.
The other thing to know, I don't remember what Snake is.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think
Reach $100 before your phone. How many prayers? There we go. Because I didn't read the instructions. Control C used to work.
Yeah, except in Wordstar. Well, there's the universal solution.
Aha!
Cold reboot.
We have a mystery light in the keyboard on and it isn't working.
Oh, I had hit a key up here. One of the mode.
Yeah.
Would you like to play and see if you remember?
Welcome to Adventure. Would you like instructions? I guess that's a yes. Somewhere nearby is a colossal cave, where others have found fortunes and treasure and gold. But it's rumored that some who enter are never seen again. Magic is said to work in the cave. I will be your eyes and hands. Direct me with commands of 1 or 2 words. I shall warn you that I look at only the first 4 letters of each word, so you'll have to enter northeast as NE to distinguish it from north, and down as descend, or just D to distinguish it from general hints. Information on how to end your adventure, etc. Type info. You are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. Then you put enter, right?
Wait a minute. Let me get this. Let me get this shot. Hold on.
R. You're going to
Enter.
enter.
Get a shot. And then another one. So this is Adventure on CPM.
Adventure on CPM.
Adventure ran on mainframes and minis and all kinds of things.
You are in front of the building. You can go directly in.
Yeah, you
I
are.
thought that wasn't going to work. He remembers it.
Yeah.
It didn't say to type enter.
Well, there's a building there. What else are you going to do with it? I guess walk away from it. You're inside a building, a well house for a large spring. Now you know what it is. There are several keys on the ground here. This is a there's a shiny brass lamp nearby. There's food here. There's a bottle of water here. I guess I guess you've got to choose which one of these things you want to do.
Actually, you can take all of them. As
Take-
far as I know, you have to type a command for each one.
Okay, brass. How about if you just write in like brass?
No, you type take lamp.
Yeah, pick up.
That works.
It says it only does the first
Right.
4 characters, right?
Yeah. Take lamp works. I don't know if the others also work.
How do you backspace?
Backspace.
Backspace. Okay.
No?
Yeah.
Or this seems to be echoing.
Right.
It echoes the character erased.
Okay. So say pick up. Pick up lamp. Like that. So pick up lamp. I don't understand that.
It's
Okay.
take. T-A-K-E.
Take L-A-M-P. Yeah, like that. Take lamp. Okay. Okay. Take keys. Keys. All right. I guess. Okay. Take keys. Take food. I guess you're supposed to grab all your goodies.
Okay.
Yeah, they all turn out to be useful eventually.
Yeah, I see. It's a real text game when you're reading this,
Oh,
huh?
here it is.
Cool.
There's a sort of a crib sheet if you can figure out how I wrote it. And the map of the cave in there.
Take water. So they actually had some pictures that came with it then.
Hmm?
They had pictures that came with it then.
No. That's a map I made
Oh, you made
by
it.
exploring a considerable length.
And where did the code for adventure come from? Who had written it?
This disc came from somebody at IMSAI, I believe, maybe Micropro. I think it was IMSAI. Something very similar turned up on the Eclipse, except that the cave was closed between 9 and 5 p.m., so you couldn't play in company time. So the program seems to be written in Fortran, and each, it hits the disk frequently. The text is in a bunch of files.
So Allan, where are you in the cave now?
I left the building and I'm in the forest with a deep valley to one side.
Mm-hmm.
So then I guess
You go east twice and then down through a grave or something. It takes a long time.
yeah, okay, I get the idea. I can-
In some place you come to a dragon that eats you unless you're carrying the right thing, in which case it
Okay.
inexplicably keels over and dies.
Okay, you're in a valley in the forest beside a stream tumbling along a rocky bed.
Yeah,
Okay, you just keep going.
I think.
Enter stream. Let's do something dangerous here. Your feet are now wet. Oh, I got wet feet on this game. I'm sorry, I just can't continue. Well, that's fun.
I don't remember that message. I think
Yeah.
did something I never tried.
North. You go north. You're at the end of the road again. So you try everything until you basically
There's a place you get in a maze of twisty little passages all alike.
twisty little passages. Huh?
And everyone signs on the same way, but they are indeed in a connected pattern. They've rearranged the words or something.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well,
And,
well that's pretty.
Like playing the game.
This was that game?
yes.
Pull it
I
all
think
the
it
way.
starts here, end of road. I started in the middle of a piece of paper because I didn't know where it was going to go.
So this is adventure.
This is what let me get back to places quickly and try to explore something new.
Building. I see. There's a lot of the building connections. Uh-huh.
Oh no, you end up, most of it's off of here.
Just out of the building?
Yeah.
Down to the cave?
Oh, I guess it's closes.
Wow.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's great. Well,
But I will leave you this sheet.
So it's for the we can disappear into this game.
Manual.
Ah, yes, I used to have one of those.
So that's Micropro International.
Pro, yeah.
San Rafael, California. And it's a Wordstar.
Wordstar User's Guide for Wordstar Release 2.1, revised 7/16/1980.
Okay.
Disclaimer, introduction.
So you wrote the whole thing, Rob, in Wordstar.
I believe so.
You read it in
It's
Wordstar?
obviously word for her files. Yeah, it was printed on that next spin writer that's out there, or on a Diablo of similar ability. You can see it's all in a Courier-like typewriter font. It does have boldface and some enhancements in it. It doesn't look anywhere near as nice as something out of a new computer.
So I have bold and formatting commands.
Yeah, I use a lot of bold, occasional underline. Subscripts and superscripts.
Yeah. The early days of tech writing. Yes. But capabilities. So
Pictures of the menus.
Oh, there's the menus. Let's get a shot of that.
I felt it necessary to describe each command. On-screen text formatting. It did not record any of the formatting information in the file. You had to remember what your margins were to reset them.
each time you rebooted?
Each time you wanted to edit some text. If it was justified, of course, the width of the line tells you what the margin is. But if it was ragged right, then the line might be too short. Yeah, like if you type Control-O-R to set the right margin, it asks for the right margin column. And you either type a number or you press the Escape key to use the column where the cursor was. The cursor in the document before you type the command.
And did you come up with all these particular commands yourself? I mean, did you out of all the infinite possibilities, you decided that...
I mean, for the letters or the functions?
Yes, for the functions.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I remember thinking, how should you delete characters?
Yeah.
Well, you want to be able to delete to both sides of the cursor, it seemed to me.
So
The
what would be
Apple
a-
people have got it down to one, apparently. They have a key, labeled delete that does what I call a backspace.
Oh, yeah.
But, well, first off, you wanted to be able to delete single characters in both directions. Originally, I thought you wanted to be able to delete the rest of the word the cursor's in or the rest of the line. And pretty much it's come down to delete the whole word the cursor's in
Yes.
and
yes.
delete the whole line the cursor's in.
Turn off the
But,
cell phone.
Yeah.
Well, when you start, you see all these keys and you start thinking up things for them to do.
Right.
And then as you go on, you go back and try to prune because you want keys available for other things.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you don't want too many.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Interesting thing. So there must have been quite a few you had to figure out that way. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we go back, we could find... Yeah, there are a lot of things to decide what one should do,
Yeah.
having
so-
never used an on-screen editor before.
Right. Like what really was going to work. I guess you had to get a lot of feedback from people.
Well, mostly I get the feedback from myself,
Oh, right.
because I was always editing programs
Yeah.
as I implemented the stuff.
We have to remember to turn all our cell phones off during these shoots. A zillion calls today.
Yeah.
Well, my friend called from Africa, by the way. Remember Stuart Gold?
Yeah.
And he said to say hello that he used your programs in England when he was starting on microcomputers. And then Galen called, my wife Galen.
Yeah.
She said hello too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something that's touched thousands of people. The program.
Did I? No, I don't think I did. One of my friends was in Budapest in May when the Supreme Court decision about marriage came down,
Okay.
and he was in a store and his cell phone rings and his older lover in Sacramento calls him and said, "Hey, did you hear about the court decision?" "Yeah, that was on the news an hour ago. Don't you think I know about anything here in Hungary?" But the conversation continued and they proposed to each other.
Oh,
And they got married last Tuesday, which was the
Oh.
first legal day,
in San Francisco?
in Woodland,
Woodland. Oh.
in Yellow County, north of
Wow.
South, because he lives in Davis.
Oh.
And they were very welcoming there.
Oh,
I
cool.
mean, the county clerk happened to be in the hall and saw two men walked in and asked what we wanted and told us where the room was, where the wedding was going to be. And
Yeah. Wow.
whereas in Calaveras County, they decided not to do civil weddings at all anymore.
Oh.
Supposedly no relationship. They claimed they made the decision a few days before the court decision came down.
Right, right. Yeah.
So there's a bunch of brouhaha going on
And there.
about how isn't there really budget enough to do an occasional civil wedding?
Yeah.
I mean, you only get one a month or something.
Yeah. Are you?
And there are other counties where they have volunteer, what do they call them? Marriage commissioners.
Yeah.
People to conduct civil weddings, as opposed to, the county is required by law to grant marriage licenses, but conducting the wedding, can be done by a minister or lots of other authorized people.
Any plans yourself?
That
That
the-
department?
It doesn't. To me, the formality doesn't seem important, but a lot of people think it's important. Important to do what straight people can do. I don't know. If I was living with a woman, would we get married? I suppose eventually.
Eventually.
But one of the things to keep it simple is wait till after November.
Yeah.
If it gets outlawed again, you might as well not bother to do it
Whoever
twice.
needs that, right?
Well, the other thing it does is it makes filing your, even if you get a domestic partnership in California, it makes your
Yeah.
income tax complicated. Because you have to fill out your California income tax is based on your federal.
Yeah.
You have to fill out a federal return as though you were filing jointly,
Oh.
even though you can't. You have to fill it out filing singly, individually to send to the feds. But you have to fill it out as though you were filing jointly for the state. Because then there's a form of differences
Wow.
you go through. So you have to start from that fictitious federal return because you're required to file jointly
Sounds very.
just as though you're
close to-
married.
This one again?
The
Piston
Wordstar customization notes, which I'm quite sure is something I wrote, from July 31, 1980. The Wordstar releases 2.0 and 2.1. Tells all the things about how to make it work for a specific printer.
So if you want to try
Changing
to.
command keys, daisy printer items.
Did you do call out tech support? Did you deal with any of that? You train somebody for that, I guess?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly we tried to minimize it, tell people they should go to their dealers.
I send the dealers and handhold them through this.
Yeah, they're supposed to. And for $4.95, of which they get quite a bit, they're supposed to do quite a bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I did some. But
Those are the days.
Well, that's interesting. So that's the hand-drawn version of that. Take a shot of that. So what is that, Rob? That's your hand-drawn notes
it's a hand-drawn picture of the keyboard.
of the keyboard. So
And